I'm recording now. Haha. Welcome to the for the recorded folk. So if we see, we have, let me put the names on the indicators too, so we can see what we're talking about. So we can see here we have LDPS is showing bullish. So we have a bullish LDPS, but for the LDPMs, it's a bit mixed. So we have 5, 7, and then 6. So this is kind of a bearish mix, right? It's not 5, 6, 7. It's not 5, 6, 7. It's a mix. And so this gives the bullish LDPS liquidity. It's a little bit of a pause. It's not like a full bullish. If it were, it would be in a bullish stack. So it would be LDPM 5, LDPM 6, LDPM 7. And then the price would be up there somewhere. But we have a mixed stack. And so this is a cautionary bull trap, right? So bull trap. Haha. So we can't quite give a full bullish what's it called when you usher someone forward? Send off. We see that the price on the daily is it was stopped today by LDPM 6 at 22 on NASDAQ, and it seems like the LDPM 5 at 22 is providing a decent floor. How do you set the one line LDPM? So if you only want the one line versus this is like the Fibonacci's like LDPM fibs. So if you just want the one line, you can just click off the LDPM fibs, and then you can go and place a manual LDPM if you want. So this will be LDPM 144, or you can, and this one isn't confined, right? So you can do whatever LDPM order you want. And so you can just set it that way. And you can also, if you want it to be based off the days, so if you want to see what like a one LDPM over the span of just one day, you can go ahead and do that. And you can also, customize the width of it, the color of it, however you want. I mainly stick to the LDPM fibs. I just think it's a really nice, intuitive way to look at the market. So that's the daily outlook. What else we got going on in the market? Let's see. How do we get to any big stock moves? So mostly red. Walmart down 6%. So let's check out Walmart. So we got, this is the 45 minutes, so it looks like things became bearish. So we have a start from, okay, back here. So we have bullish, just pure nice bullishness, green. It's a bullish stack for LDPM. This is Wednesday, February 5th. And then we get some bearish. We get some transactions at the bid, brings the price down. We get some eager bid. Looks like we pretty much start resting on the last organic floor. By the time we get a nice bullish liquidity surge, we see LDPM 5 is inverted back into that mixed state. So it's like you start immediately thinking this is going to be a bull trap, because LDPM, unlike before where, until things started turning bearish with LDPS, LDPM was in a bullish stack with a bullish LDPM. But by the time we get bullish LDPS again, we're now at a mixed stack, and then things turn bearish again. And then by February 18th, it looks like LDPM does a full bearish inversion, meaning things are just pure bearishness. and then it looks like earnings exasperated that, even though it was a good earnings, 2.18%. But we can see by then all the transactions were pretty much occurring at the bid, and so I imagine, it's interesting that many people kind of there's good earnings in the price tanks, and everyone's confused. But remember, the organic bid is down here, and if they see good earnings, then that just propagates their future outlook, right? So they're not interested in buying anything other than lower because they just saw how much profit they can make in the future. So they're, you know what I mean? Like, they're not worried about near term spot down like 10%. That's a discount to them. And we can see the they were kind of, I think, I'm not gonna say they as in applying some sort of grandiose intent, but oh, thanks, JJ. I'm trying to be more active in this space, so we'll see. But yeah. So Walmart on the 45. If we go on the daily, we can see what do we see? All right. So we had bullishness. Looks like this push down, but it seems like at most there's still two really good organic bids at LDPM. Why the label's not on anymore? Also, if the volume or anything needs to be changed or anything, let me know. So this is actually pretty similar to what was the other day? PLTR? Was that just had an earnings? Yeah, so we had PLTR. It was pretty similar in that last what is this GameStop now? What was I just looking at? Did it go away? Is it gone? Oh, Walmart. It looked like this previously, and then today it looks like the liquidity switched back to bullish. I think I did a tweet about it, but so we can see that it was like a push. There was an eager ask, definitely. Push down to the bid that switches LDPS to red because it's saying, hey, things are being transacted at the bid. And that is quite a new, like, normally that doesn't, when that just kind of happens, it typically gets digested pretty well. And we could see LDPMs, you have pretty good organic LDPMs here ready to digest that. And so that's what happened with Palantir last night. And it looks like a similar setup. It's hard to gauge though, because if we talk about like, this is likely to revert, but it still has every right to test the organic floors before it reverts. The ideal would be that if it does progress, it doesn't as soon as possible. But it's, depending on how eager this ask and how robust, it doesn't, nothing says it can push down. I'm back. Doesn't mean it can't push down to test the organic bid. It's already fallen through out of PM5 and the labels are gone again. Ta-da. Okay. So, and then, so that kind of looks like what's playing out there. Similar thing to Palantir. If it were, Palantir still has a healthy, eager ask shooting up. But for now, it looks pretty well maintained. So yeah, on the 45, we can see a little bit of a scoop. Nothing crazy. GME. GME on the 90-minute. A confusing GME on the 90-minute. So it looks like today is another test. We had a test of LDPM 5 at 29 on February 14th, and then tested it, fell through. Looks like we have another one at 27:45 that was tested. Again, it was LDPM 6. It seems to be quite an attractive force lately. And what does it still is, LDPS is still bearish. So this is kind of like Walmart where, but just kind of more progressed in that like I said, when things become bear trap morphology, the kind of annoying part is which part, ideally LDPS and LDPM will tell us, but in the interim, when you're just kind of waiting and you're looking at this bearish liquidity, but the price is still kind of going up, it can be nerve-wracking. But technically this is still a bear trap. It's just that as the bearish liquidity continues, it becomes more likely to test 2174. But as long as LDPM maintains its LDPM 5, 6, 7, its bullish stack, then we can expect the bearish liquidity eventually to be digested by these organic bids and then naturally start to float back up. So I'm just seeing how's NQ looking. Have you checked SPY QQQ? I can do that. Can you explain some of the logic behind the LDPM lines themselves? Like what is 5765 based on? I can't tell when price is coming to a fib if that should be a support or resistance. I'm also curious if there's best to use regular session or extended. So good questions. So the logic behind the LDPM lines is relatively straightforward. The LDPM fibs themselves are based off of the singular LDPMs, and it kind of just developed in a way that it started to become natural to add more and more LDPMs to the chart, but there kind of needed to be a way to do it that wasn't just arbitrary. And so through time, it just became convenient to use to always have the same view of the stock, and so to always use the same LDPMs. And it kind of was a coincidence that just the way that LDPM is structured internally, that it wasn't just adding the orders that create the different LDPMs. It isn't just like an expansion of like the data amount look back. It's like a kind of a whole different paradigm for each one of these numbers. So, and that wasn't necessarily a plan when like formulating LDPM, but it definitely has shown itself to be pretty cool. And then once LDPM fib started to really look like a promising kind of standard way of using LDPM, just did some backtesting and research, made sure it held up, and it's pretty good. So in a nutshell, it just is, on the math side, it's whatever. But in terms of functionality, I mean, I don't know. I say whatever, but I don't know how nerdy you guys want me to get. But in terms of functionality, anything below 5 is considered an eager party. So all of these lines that are kind of faint, I'll put these guys up, and then I'll turn off the organics. So these guys are the eager parties, right? And so we can see up here, we have their eager ask because LDPM is above the price. Here we see the eager bid is hanging out below the price. Here we see the eager ask shoots up pretty quickly. Here we have the eager bid starts coming. I wish there was a better way to like erase stuff, but so the price, we have the price is going up, and then as the price drops, though, we see this huge eager ask. It was like a one candle. Oh no, what? It looks like it drops, but yeah, and then it rose 3% drop. Well, in any case, an eager bid steps in, And then profit taking steps in because we have those eager asks. And so I thought I got rid of you. And so functionally, you can think of the lower order ones, the 1 through 4, as eager parties. They're just showing us where people are either trying to get profit or usually get profit, sometimes hedging. Short covering can definitely present as eager. And then the higher order ones, the 5, 6, 7, those are considered the organics. So they show us where the organic parties are. And so here we have that bullish stack. And so but here we have the prices above, or the LDPM 5 is above the price. So LDPM 5 right now is an organic ask. So that means that the organic ask is interested in the price rising. Hold on. My brain's just having a fart. So the organic ask transacts. Wow, my own system, I'm having a brain fart. That's why I have notes. We can check on them later. But no, it's gonna irk me. We'll come back to it. Let's look at QQQ. The organic bid my brain is gone. QQQ on the 1 day is in a bull trap. We don't have the eager parties on. You did break me. I wasn't. It does, but I want it. It's good to see me break though, because this stuff isn't easy. I mean, I have like, and I have actual. There's just endless notebooks of nothing but math. I have probably a stack of these. Big stack. So this stuff's not the easy, and there's a reason why I make so many like charts to share, because they're for me. I look at those charts. I look at the cheat sheets all the time. It's sometimes a lot to remember. So we have. So here we see the LDPM shoot down as the eager bid coming in. So price goes up. We see the eager asks start profit taking. Price kind of stagnates. And here we see that the ask is, or the LDPMs are kind of moving in a way that is going, it looks like it's superseding the price. So that looks like another eager ask coming in. And even still, this bullish LDPM this bullish LDPS is with a bearish LDPM stack, and so this is a bull trap until proven otherwise on QQQ. What's the weekly? So weekly we do have bullish, but it looks like we definitely have an encroachment of eager ask, and this is draining liquidity away, it seems. Let me move this. So we see that the transactions are mainly occurring at the bid, but they look to be flowing towards the bid. So liquidity is flowing down towards the bid. And so likely test of LDPM 5 at 512, and then if conditions continue to deteriorate, we could expect another fall to 464. But it looks, for now, it's holding. So if we start seeing these kind of like progress down fully and kind of like go like this as the price, then things would be probably return back to bullishness as the eager ask kind of removes itself. It gets what it needs and it removes. But if we see the price kind of stagnate and then LDPM 5 starts joining the eagers, then we can definitely expect a test of LDPM 6. And right now that looks to be the anticipated trajectory, I would say. So, yeah, and sometimes I do just like if I'm looking for like a big picture view, I'll take the lower order LDPMs off because sometimes they just get a little like if we're just trying to get like the gist, like this is fine, right? And we can see that as we're peaking, we're starting to lose some liquidity, and we can even put it on. We can look at like an aggressive view, so we see, yeah, every time we test it looks like when we get close to testing LDPM5, we suffer a pretty good liquidity drain. So that is the market shooting down to the organic bid that is at 512 at the LDPM5 with quite a zeal. But technically bullish currently. So if you can hear my dogs going crazy in the background. Do we look at SPY? Is that what someone said? Yeah, InQ, cautionary bull trap, yeah. Ooh. So this is with the aggressive LDPS. So it's quick. It's a what's the word? Quick trigger, happy finger trigger. And so keep that in mind, but it is pretty persistently now demonstrating bearish liquidity, and LDPM, like the organic bid is right there. So if we fall, hold on a second, they're getting a little crazy. Sorry. And so yeah, the organic bid is right there. So the S&P 500 is testing the organic bid with bearish liquidity. So we can be certain the organic bid's being tested since this is telling us the transactions are occurring at the bid. It looks like right now it's flowing to the ask, but I don't know. But yeah, this failure of the LDPM5 would certainly send things to 540, which is what? 8.86%. Did it just stop on that automatically, or how did it do that? Actually, it'd be like 9.65%, but okay. This is on the weekly. What about SPY on the weekly? Do LDPM crossovers have some sort of impact on their point of cross? They do. In some weird ways. The traditional way is the crossover is significant in such that it is telling you the transition of a one party to the next, right? So here we have the organic bid, and then we have a crossover, and so now we see that the predominance, the organic party most predominant per LDPM5 is now the organic ask, right? So that would be a bearish crossover. And that's the general rule of thumb. So as long as the price is above the bullish stack, that is bullish. But if, say, the price crosses and has a bearish crossover, then that's pretty bearish. And then if it crosses fully over, then that's pretty bearish. Because this is pretty... What's going on? Something's going on outside. We can go to Diamond and see what if we really don't like changing our minds, then we can see that we shouldn't change our mind. We're still on the most conservative mode. We are still bullish for the S&P on the week. But we can see pretty similar setup. Can you guys hear that? So we can see encroaching organic even on this is diamond conservative, maybe diminishing bearish liquidity or diminishing bullish liquidity, LDPM crossover. So, in the coming X amount of weeks, if this starts to look pretty reminiscent, then we should expect another rhyme down to 540. So, but yeah, in terms of like which to monitor, yeah, I think it just depends on your style. I think, I don't know. I like the cross. I monitor and then if you're talking about like when LDPMs cross over each other, that's when things get weird. Because you'll notice that when LDPMs spend a good amount of time, I don't know if we're gonna be able to find an example off the top of my head. We're gonna go to my favorite stock of all time that always has something happening on it, and then maybe this will help us. So when LDPMs cross over one another, that is significant. However, I can't tell you exactly how or why right now, because not that you're not privy to that info. It's just that I'm not currently privy to that info. So you'll notice that crossovers create these what I call junction complexes. And I know I have a lot of names, but these junction complexes occur for some reason when LDPMs are getting ready to cross or are crossing. And you'll notice that the junctions have consequences. So they're different from just these types of complexes where LDPMs move in tandem. These, when they join and move, will always result in some configuration switch. I did write a little thing on it a while ago, but it's pretty hard to tweeze out like this. Is a good one. So we went from a mixed, we had this weird junction up to a bullish. And so, but again, different from this, right? Because this is just them behaving in tandem. So I don't know. So they're just doing the same thing coincidentally at the same time. But this is when they're kind of like in the process of meeting. Here's another good one. I have John, I have a surprise for you. I'm recording this. I'll pop this bad boy back up on YouTube later. But so yeah, to answer your question, is there significance in crossovers? Yes, both in terms of just price action itself, so such that like LDPM above the price is a bearish configuration, but also it seems that there's some sort of something happening during these junction complexes, I've noticed. I don't know. I gave them a special lunch, so they're kind of hanging out by the window watching the snow. They were getting rowdy. I don't know. But yeah. So but junction complexes are a curious beast. I just haven't had a lot of time to get into them. So but CPRX is always kind of up to something. So we have just bearish all around. Big ask walking in. So this is a good example. So we have a bearish stack, right? 5, 6, 7. And then bullishness. So you think, okay, bear trap. And then it sort of resolves. And now we get this huge eager ask coming in. And so definitely this is just telling us that there is absolutely a party interested in unloading shares. And because of even the organic LDPM 7 is shooting upwards, which is not too common. we can discern that it's going to be a pretty hefty eager ask, and we've already dropped to LDPM 6 at 22, and we're eager asking even still. So getting to LDPM 7 seems like a reasonable test soon. Yeah, yeah, edibles. I just give them pure. We don't even do edibles anymore. We just it's pure RSO. They actually know how to work the butane torch better than I do. And this coincides with a weekly view also of testing 2037. So that definitely seems like the next move for CPRX. We're flowing to the bid. We're still technically bullish, but we can see it's diminishing. So we have like this nice deep green, a little lighter, and then the super light. And we have this organic floor at 2037. And the daily looks like it's going to test downwards. And so about 20 bucks seems like a reasonable place for CPRX to land. What else? What about any big stuff going on? What's NVIDIA? So we got is it the daily? What are we on? I want to go back to balance. I like balance just for balance is kind of what I choose if I'm just looking at stuff. Right. I mean, yeah, in that nothing happens, but I think LDPM and LDPS are pretty good at giving us forewarning even for like some surprise events. So we say we're bullish and then we get bearish. We test here for a while and then we test LDPM 7, which at the time was 93. We're still technically in a bear trap at this point because nothing has inverted. So we rise up, but it looks like we bounce back down, and we rise and we come out of our bear trap happy and alive, and then we experience it again. But this time it's different because as our liquidity drains, LDPM is now marching with us. So as before, LDPM stayed up here as the price did its thing. Here, as the price does its thing, we can see the LDPM 5 is actually coming down with it. So there was part of the ask pushing this price to LDPM 7 was an organic ask. We break through, but at this point we are now in a bear trap because it's at least mixed, right? Because we have 5, 7, 6, and LDPS is painting things bullish. So even though the price is going up, we have to be cautious, and it seems that buddy, what's up? You can't just stare at me and expect me to know what you want. What he wants. Bull trap gives way, bearish, and like full bearish, and so now we are in the price is going up, but and LDPS is green, but we're still in that pretty much bear LDPM configuration. So this would be a pretty messy bull trap. There's pretty good evidence that testing LDPM 6 is pretty common in this scenario, so not unlikely to test 150-ish and then fall back down, so long as all this stays the same. But these seem to be numerous bull traps. Hold on a second. Let me go see what this Goober wants. I put Bitcoin on the 30-second, but this is Bitstamp. Okay. See, the data is much nicer here. So classic, really nice showing. So we have bearish stack, bearish stuff going on. Then we have bullish LDPS, but it's a bear trap. So it looks like we hit the organic ask at 98.7. Fell down and are falling down. This is the 30-second though, so on the 8-minute, this downwards looks like it might come to about 98, where LDPM 6 and 5 are occurring. And we do have a little meeting, some junctional potential. But yeah, if you look at like this, look at this. It's actually really, look, why does it do it? So yeah, you'll see a lot of this. Like, it looks like it literally reminds me of waves. There's a word, what's the word for it? Physics. I hate physics. Where like the constructive and destructive interference of waves when they interact with each other, or like come into contact with each other. But it's been particularly difficult to, I mean, how do you quantify this enough to find it? You know, what's the algorithm for when the LDPMs are getting nearby and do something weird? Tag it. But you do see that pretty often. What else? Let's look at like converging waves. Yeah, there's like when it's like the interference of the waves. So like either they like will amplify each other, or like destructive interference, is it? Deconstructive interference. In any case, sometimes it looks like the waves, like the junctions usher something on, or they like just put something in its tracks. Destructive interference, that's it. But what's gold up to? What's everyone doing with their gold? Should we look at gold futures? What's the thing everyone looks at when they talk about gold? It's just gold, right? Right. Yeah, destructive versus constructive. It's kind of what it reminds me of. So gold is zooming. No LDPMs. Big zooms. So bullish, right? We're bullish stack, but we do have to worry about this little liquidity vacuum down to 81.65. Because remember, when things are above LDPM, it's bullish until proven otherwise. But that really doesn't mean it can't test these LDPMs when it wants. It's just telling us that as it's doing it, things are remaining bullish. But there's still the possibility of, unless like if the price starts falling, then LDPS starts turning bearish, then But what about? It looks like gold is. Let's put the ears on. So we do have some profit taking, it looks like. So eagers are swarming over the price. So looks like a test of 81 does seem to be inbound. What's my new favorite time? I forget. Instead of the daily, it's the 987. And yeah, so here we can also see these LDPMs, these eager asks reaching up. But it looks good because it looks like even if it falls, we are now in a nice bullish stack. So even if it tests 81, it seems like not too bad. Because even here we see that it was mixed. It was mixed until when? So we have. Huh. So lots of lots of pretty substantial bids walked in recent around start of February. What about the weekly? Yeah, it's a bit of a definitely bullish, but I guess if I were to play this, it would be like protective puts at like 71, you know? Maybe 81. I mean, yeah, just tell me what to look at. You GLD? I'm here just to hang out and look at stuff with you guys. You tell me what to look at. So kind of a similar thought. So we have bullish, and we're in a bullish mixed stack, right? Like we have 6, 5, 7. But it's not like fully bullish. So, and that's also showing. Well, that's showing a 256 as the next organic floor, which is 5.7%. Let's see if we turn the eager parties on, if we see some profit taking occurring also. So that we do. We also even see the eager bids we mentioned earlier a bit more pronounced here. So they came in, looks like there was some profit taking. It looks like the eager asks are coming up. So probably, it's not like bearish by any means, but some pullback might be reasonable given this eager ask. Do a round of checking on different sectors, sure. What sectors do you want to check on? Conway. You're gonna make me look up sectors. Look at the macro report for sectors. Varex, in the inhibition zone. So we're in bullish until proven otherwise with QQQ and SPY on traditional Varex. Minimum put selling. So we have near zero on SPY, near zero on QQQ. Oops. Gamma squeezes staying the same. GTM 0. These have been like neutral this whole time. The market is truly in a neutral place, which is the worst place for it to be. What's the heat maps for? Did anyone notice? No one probably, but there was a speed update on the dashboard yesterday. Don't worry about that. It wasn't that one. Come on, don't do this to me in front of my friends. Sometimes this happens too. It's totally normal. It happens to everyone. That was fast as food. All right. Let's look at. Yeah, that's gonna wreck everything for 9 years. The one thing about the shiny dashboards is if you zoom, it reloads all of the graphics. So bright. there was a loud bus outside. So pretty supportive hedging environment for QQQ. It's a little sparse, but we got the blue all around. That's nice purchasing support. Looks like we have a hard kind of line at current IV at like 535. What's QQQ at? $537. So it looks like we have a good bit of purchasing support. No crazy puts, but okay. So let's do, for sure. We'll look at BAMA real quick, and then let's look at the sectors. So there's BAMA, and this is the daily. So you tell me. I'll give it a second, and you tell me what you see. I'm gonna do the 987 now. It's kind of like it's a weird hybrid of the daily. So we got some bullish, we got some eager bids, bullish stack. We start to get some bearish liquidity. We test LDPM 5, we fall, we start testing the basement organic bids. It looks like we start to recover, because remember, this is still all, and notice that LDPM, the stacks stayed the same. It's pretty good at that. So from the get, we know as long as those conditions are maintained, this is a bear trap. It looks like on the 23rd, 24th, quite an organic bid stepped in. Things have been going up, and it actually looks this, with everything pointing down, it kind of looks like the start of another aggressive bid cascade. So some aggressive bids walking in. So this looks pretty bullish. It doesn't have, like, you remember in some of the other stocks that we saw that kind of appreciated, we had a lot of the eager asks kind of like hanging up, like shooting up and hanging up to take profit. And on BABA, we don't really see that, actually. We see the organic LDPMs are maintaining their eager bid position by moving downwards away from the price, as opposed to their eager asks. So that's weird too, that it's kind of like, but I guess if I were concerned about this pattern repeating, which is pretty consistent, I would first probably, so it looks like the asks are doing their aggressive bid cascade, so or the eager parties are doing their aggressive bids, so I'm going to get rid of them. We know what they're doing. And then I'm going to put LDPS on aggressive, because I'm going to see if this is like, this looks pretty, this is we all like patterns. So it looks like from start of bullish to when things start looking bearish is a pretty good profitability. So we have things start looking bullish, we get our good shoot up, and the difficulty is, as per the pattern, it looks like we're gonna have if the pattern continues, it should be another pullback, but we should start seeing this bearish LDPS start popping up. But we do again have this organic bid, or this eager, even on the organics, we can see the eagerness of this bid. Let's go to 6, so step down. So yeah, we see prices up. So if history were to repeat, it looks like LDPM is gonna come up. I don't know if I want to draw that per se, but yeah, this does look like a drawback. It looks like another a repeat, to be honest, if I were to take a guess. But it's, I guess maybe if I had I guess, been watching Bama, I think that this is where I would step out. I mean, it's nice to have this aggressive bid coming in, but I don't know. This is just like a very suspicious kind of ordeal. You know, I would probably just take my bag, say thank you, and then move on. Wait a minute or such. Yeah, there's eager, and so yeah, we could definitely see. But again, you will typically see the eager ask profit taking, and then that leads to bearish liquidity, right? Because they're exhausting the whatever's remaining of the eager bid, and then as the profit taking kind of ramps up, it starts pushing down to the bid. So we see the introduction of these organic asks, and then eventually you see the actual bearish liquidity kind of start to take over as things start pushing down to the bid. And so, but that's not what we currently have. We have another evidence of an aggressive bid cascade. So if I were conservative, I would probably bow out. If I were an adventurer, I might leave some size in, whereas the pattern, and then just leave some size in maybe, and then that's what I would do. And then, but the moment that the eager ask starts stepping in, the profit taking starts showing itself, I would probably dip. So hope that helps. So let's look at XLF, the financial sector. There's an eager party. What is this? Oh, it's the weekly. It should be. Let's put you back on a balance. So yeah, all right. I'll give you guys a second. You guys can look at this. Let me know what you think is happening. Okay, sorry about that. So bearishness. We have a bearish LDPS flowing to the bid. It is technically a bull trap. Oops. Never mind. I see where LDPM is now. So we have LDPM 5 is an organic ask at this point. So it is. Oh yeah, no, this is a bear trap, right? So because we have a bullish stack, LDPS is bearish. We are testing the level at 5150, which is LDPM 6 right now. And it does look like a test of LDPM 7 at what is currently 48 right now. Should probably be around 50 by the time the price makes it down. If we kind of right about here, 49.40. LDPM just flattened a bit as we were watching in real time. Yeah. That's kind of the cool part about LDPM though, because it's still, if you can catch that, it's still it tells you about kind of the magnitude of the force of the person or entity that's stepping in. So this is the 987. So I would expect continued movement, especially because we have a lot of these eager asks up here. So continue, and no one looks to be, scooping down. So probably movement to 50 seems likely. What XLK? messy. So we have, I'm going to get rid of the eagers. They're all over the place. It's never a good sign. So we have bull trap, bull trap, bull trap, bearish, 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 bearish. So bull trap into just pure bearishness. And so it looks like the price is struggling against LDPM5 right now. It looks like traditionally there's at least usually at least enough oomph to get to LDPM6 and 7. So likely movement to 244. There is more bullishness than before in these prior tests. So this is just pure bearishness. This is pure bearishness. But here we have like a at the mid, flow to the ask, nice little rosé color. So it seems like likely test of 244, but overall the interpretation is still bearish for XLK. So like in this moment, I wonder like if I were prone to selling calls, I wonder if I would sell calls at like this place area right here, right around here. I'd probably just sell some calls. I don't know. I don't like selling calls though. So we have bullish, 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 bearish, bearish. Yeah, things in general just seem to be. Have we found anything today that wasn't a meme stock that's bullish? Tested, the test took all the way down to the organic bid at LDPM5. Looks like we're doing a little rebounds. So yeah, I think XL definitely looks ready to test LDPM6 again at 211. XLE. Oops. Oh no. What do we have here? You don't usually see a bullish LDPM stack with a price above LDPM that's bearish. I'm gonna be honest with everyone here. It's not a traditional configuration. It goes away if we turn it on aggressive though, so let's do that. So it looks like pretty bullish. Yeah, it looks bullish. It looks like the price was pretty bounded above for a while by this pretty persistent organic ask. It looks like we've broken free. And we have bullish liquidity. So, I mean, the balance being bearish, I'm not going to lie, is a strange feat. This on the daily. What's going on in this sector? This is the energy sector? Sometimes even LDPM could be. So let's go, whenever there's like a sector that's just being weird, I go up to diamond. I remove LDPM, I go up to diamond. And I kind of just look if there's any like main trends. Not really, but it does seem like there is this pretty persistent level. Because like if you're meeting at the bid, you should go down, but it looks like there's a pretty persistently like a hefty organic bid there. Maybe we have to up our LDPM. Let's put LDPM 144 to 987. Wow, I went to make my voice low and it just cracked right immediately. So 980, the maximum value LDPM can take is 987, and it looks like things are testing 987. This one's messy. Bearish, bearish, bearish. I don't know what I would actually interpret this as. Let's go to the week. So we have bearishness. Oh, is this like some things are like equities that are persistently in a gamma squeeze? They kind of just behave differently. I wonder, does the energy sector have that? Because so we're bounded above, but we're breaking above, but we're still transacting at the bid. Make it make sense. Yeah, this. I'm actually gonna watch this one. This one I don't know. The eagers are just all over the place. Every time I want to look at them, it scares me. We're losing bullish. We're technically in a bull trap, so we're likely going to go down. But in terms of the rhyme or reason of overall price action, I don't know. This one's weird. But the current anticipation would be down. Just as we're losing that bullish liquidity, and we're also in a bear trap. So, can we look at some of the components of XOE? Absolutely. XOM, ExxonMobil. Looks like it's earning and yearning for a bull trap. We got bullish LDPS. Looks like movement to 115-ish isn't unlikely. But because it's the bear stack, it'll be a bear trap. This is the daily. Zooming in on the 144, we do see the bullishness. So we have bullish LDPS. And a bullish stack. So bull trap on, it looks like bullish on the 144. And then when we zoom up to 987, it looks like a bull trap. So, oops, excuse me. And then I think the 987 gave us the ceiling, right? Yeah, about 114. So we can even see LDPM is dipped down, I think, more than it was last time we were here. So bull trap alert. I want to make an indicator for that on TradingView, but TradingView is very particular on how much data you can bring into a chart. This is CVX Chevron. This is the 987. Looks like we do have a little bit of a eager bid coming in. We have a bull stack. We have bullish liquidity. This is CVX on the daily. Also similar story. This is cool. So this is the Chevron on the weekly. Looks like we're going along. We get a nice bid. Probably if we turn on the eager asks, I imagine we'd see them all up in there. We start profit taking. So this is the for those interested, if you ever hear me talk about an aggressive bid cascade, this is pretty a prototypical one. So we have prices going along, and then we have this big bid come in, and then we see that I think this is on, I want like, because I think it's like but so then we have this like cascade and it kind of gets smaller. So this whole complex, probably should do a different color than the one color of the LDPM line, but can't win them all. I also don't know how to change it, so. But so yeah, this aggressive bid cascade looks to have happened. And then profit taking, so we start losing bullish liquidity, we start sinking, we sink down to the organic bid at 155. And looks like we've been hanging out there. We did actually even go through an aggressive ask cascade, which is the opposite of an aggressive bid cascade. So probably the LDPM spikes up, and then we see LDPM start coming and scooping in underneath. And it's in the entire time, LDPM maintains its bull stack. So the entire time it's a bear trap. And it looks like now we're peaking up above the organic ask, and we have an eager bid, and we're flowing to the ask. So things are looking quite bullish, actually. And like kind of like a nice, healthy organic bullish, not like a forced. Like it looks like the equity's cooled off and people are ready but not piling in. Or is it like an earnings coming up? Oh, it had one. Surprise miss, 2.4%. But for now, looks bullish. Can't complain. You said cop? ConocoPhillips? The heck is this? I don't know any Phillips. We have organic ask. I might have to close the window. This organic ask, LDPM 5 seems to be pretty resilient. It's kept the price in check pretty well. What was once a bear trap, because LDPM was in a bull, in its bull stack, is now less of a bear trap, since we are now experiencing a mixed stack. And so whereas before there was, you could say that it was likely the price would always test the LDPM 5. I guess whereas if this is still true, we see that LDPM 5 is sinking. So whereas once it was 131, it is now 113. And this also minimizes the idea of a bear trap. So downside. Oh, this is the weekly. What about the daily? It looks like on the daily there was. So we have from here, we have bearish, 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 bearish. We have bull trap, bearish, 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 bull trap, bearish, 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 bull trap. And it looks like we're still in a bull trap, but struggling to get even to LDPM 5 at 102 without our liquidity being drained. So it looks like ConocoPhillips looks like downside. Do they have their data? What does their stuff look like? So that was their hedging heat map coming into today. Looks like it served them pretty well. I think I have to turn this off. My husband's home. Hold on a second. Hello. Let's see. One of my favorite ways to look at stuff is with a mad look back. It basically tells you how much stuff is changing in comparison to prior. So we see that liquidity levels, which I've colored here green, are increasing with a pretty good click. I don't know where the data went. Vorex is in the propagation zone. This is one of those weird equities that has liquidity on the downside. So yeah, I wonder if there's a association with that's like a whole madhouse to try to sort through when you start seeing that type of stuff though, where like liquidity starts improving on the downside. It's not necessarily like a quick little adventure to look at. My short ratio skyrocket. Oh, is that the there's a little bug with the short ratio? But so yeah, I would expect. I mean, movement above 102-ish seems, I don't know, unlikely. Ooh, wasn't this? Oh, because we're still on diamond. So we still have LDPM 7 on TLT has been holding pretty strong at 88, and it's given enough time for LDPM 5 to scoop down as a organic bid, and things are still bullish. So I think TLT is still well within bullish territory, honestly, despite the market's, I think, protests. Because TLT is the treasury bond ETF, right? So a bullish TLT is typically a bearish equities. Is Tesla still doing its thing? Looks like it. So likely movement still to 306. We see that it is technically in a bull trap or a bear trap. We have the LDPS is bearish, but we have the 567 LDPM stack. Do we see any? I wonder if the eagers are helping support it right now. So if we turn the eagers on, are they hanging out? Yeah, kind of. 1, 2, It's not terrible. Looks like they're holding their own. Looks like there was a little mini ask and a scoop. Whether or not that'll be enough, who knows? Because it's been pretty consistently bullish, bearish. I wish there were different names for those. Why they both have to start with a B? On the 987, we tested LDPM 5 at the organic bid at 422. Oh no, yeah, at 400ish in the middle of January. That took a lot of liquidity, it seems. It looks like so since mid-December, it looks like there's been a pretty consistent ask, eager ask. And it actually looks like just now, I mean, we had one episode of it coming into the rescue, kind of another, but here is actually a pretty consistent, eager bid. And so, you know, the problem with eager bids is how much can we rely on them? They might just disappear tomorrow, and LDPM skyrocket, and then telling us that everything is moving back to the ask, and off they go. But I mean, I wouldn't trust it because we already have this one, this LDPM 4. It is technically eager, right? But it's refusing to join below. It's kind of stopped. It is now pointing back up. So I think a test of LDPM 6 at 615-ish, 620 seems likely. Easy peasy. I want 30 seconds. So, all right. If there's anything else anyone wants to look at, let me know. So we definitely see Bitcoin is. I like looking at, especially after hours. I just like looking at Bitcoin on like the low time frames. It really, I think if there's any, you know, speed bumps to working with LDPM and LDPS, looking at just watch a cryptocurrency at like 30 seconds. Bitcoin is a good choice, and you'll see everything you need to see. It's all like you'll notice like if we zoom out, and I didn't tell you what time frame this chart was, you wouldn't be able to know, right? Because LDPM and LDPS are behaving exactly the same. They're like essentially time frame agnostic. They're not going to change what they interpret depending on the time. So that is to say, like there's nothing that's like this is the 30-second chart, so you got to worry about this. You know, like it's LDPM and LDPS measure what they measure, and they just give us the results. The time frame just tells us how we kind of group the results into the candles. So yeah, so you can watch the like this is the 5-second, I think, or is it the 5-minute? I want the 5-second. I did say 5 seconds, I think, when I typed it in. But even the 5-minute works too. But you'll see everything you need to see, except, you know, whereas maybe if you're looking at an equity on like the time or the daily time frame or the 4-hour time frame, you're going to be watching these same showings play out just over the course of 4-hour chunks. And here you can get the benefit of seeing it in like 5-second chunks. Thanks for the stream. Got to head home. All right, JJ, good seeing you. I'll hopefully see you around. How does ES look, and where do you think it's going after OPEX? That's a good question. Let's see. So we have, go to the daily. So the ideal, so there's a bullish stack, and so we have bullish LDPM, we have the 6 above, or the 5 above the 6 above the 7, and we have liquidity is bullish, and so it looks like a test of LDPM 5 or 6 at 6215-ish, 6220-ish seems likely. I mean that would be the expected, you know, expectancy would be return to bullish performance. It's odd that the price is just kind of hanging out in this LDPM made channel. not odd, but usually you don't see it. It does, because it kind of tells us in a passive way that there's a persistent ceiling, whereas normally you don't want there to be a ceiling. The benefit is in this configuration though, we do have that LDPM is now acting as a nice homemade like range, so we can expect if the price falls down to LDPM 7, we can expect that it's probably likely going to start bouncing back up to LDPM 5 and 6. But we can even see that there's not enough. It didn't really encroach on the higher order LDPMs. So if we make LDPS aggressive, not much. It looks like we have an eager ask. It's kind of playing with the market, it seems. I mean, my knee gut reaction is that this is looking down. This is looking downsies. So this is a downsies look. And here's those junction complexes. Here's another one. The most common one we know is this one, like the aggressive ask cascades. But so we're at the bid, we're flowing to the bid. This is on the 987, so just shy of I think it's 13 hours it comes to. But we can see that this bull trap failed. This bull trap was pushed down by an aggressive ask. We've kind of been floating along. We went a little bit into a bull trap here, and then we didn't even test LDPM really. We just kind of flatlined and stagnated and have become bearish again. So LDPM is rising in this junction pattern as the price kind of just hangs out. So never too bullish of a sign. So I would argue that, yeah, downside seems likely. And not just because I've been preaching that for a minute. So yeah, 987. I think on the weekly there was, this is aggressive, but there was concern on the weekly for pullback to 5.9 LDPM 5. We've kind of already tested it. We lost some bullish liquidity. You can see as we neared, that tells us the transactions were starting to really occur at the bid, which tells us the LDPM, the organic bid at LDPM 5 was pretty much taking the bulk of that downwards pressure. In prices stagnating, LDPM's rising. So should we experience a little bit of a dip on the weekly or on the daily? Or what, we were at the 987. Well, this is a bull trap nonetheless. So in the balance setting, we can see that things are still technically in the bull trap, but we're still flowing to the bid. The aggressive setting is less likely to tell us about traps. It'll just straight tell us. This was a particularly pronounced one, but usually you'll just see pure bearishness or bullishness reign. But so the balanced is bull trap, and on the weekly we see that there's definitely room to test LDPM 5 again at around 5,900. And then should liquidity worsen during that transaction, we can expect a movement to 5,430. Otherwise, if in the next, by the end of the week, or ideally I think on the daily, I would like to see to abandon those kind of bearish ideations, I would want, honestly, just the price starting to migrate. And then I want to see it kind of, I don't want to see this. Right, I don't want to see a super eager party coming in and just moving things. If the eager parties could kind of maintain their spot below as the price rises, and hopefully we don't see too much hiccups as the price goes above these organic asks, and then that would be full steam ahead. But currently, it looks like we have 2 of the 3 organic parties acting as a persistent organic ask. So I'll let you handle whatever you think that might be. Are any of those color lines stronger than the other? Are you breaking down the brown line means the bounce would be stronger, like a rubber band effect, versus the other colors? That's a good question, actually. I never looked at that. I never actually looked at that. I will say in a similar vein, LDPS was designed in a sort of in a roundabout way to what you're talking in a way. Because there was always like, if without LDPS coloring the bars, like if we turned LDPS off, there was always like, oh man, like how do we know if the price is approaching LDPM, if it's going to bounce up or if it's going to fall through? And that question was actually what ultimately led to LDPS, as it was designed to help us find those moments when the price would fall down to the kind of next floor, versus when it looks like it's just going to bounce back up. And depending on how aggressive and conservative you want with that view is how you can determine LDPS, how you want LDPS to be. But in terms of looking at the response of the price with respect to bouncing off of LDPMs, I haven't actually. That would be it seems conceptually like your idea is true. But I guess it ultimately, I think, depends on the magnitude of the ask that's pushing down. Because you can get, I think actually, if I were to wave my hand, I almost want to say that it's the opposite. I feel like by the time things get to the organic, like the basement, it's either going to like flatline and except ignore all these, or fall like straight through. Like here, you always kind of see this where like the price will like get to the LDPM and kind of just stagnate with respect to LDPM, and then either fall through or kind of just. So I feel like it's almost. So I think you would have to be able to really answer that question. You have to be able to quantify kind of like what is the eagerness of the ask pushing the price down, and then look to see if there's certain patterns or behaviors for the LDPMs that are associated with that. That's a good question, actually. I like that. But usually I find the biggest bounces are if bouncing off of is almost universally like the big bounce. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate it. I'm a fan. I like it. What else can we look at? Anything else you want to look at? We got. I never look at like the vanguards though. So we still on balanced? I don't like the daily view. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like it. So like if we look at 2020, we're big red. Things get bullish, a little bearish, but we could test. But I don't know. You notice, like, I think things like this was bullish for months. This is January from November. This is March, 3 months. But lately, it's just the market is all over the place. But VU, we see we're in that like unfortunate tunnel. The upper limit currently seems to be at 566. We do have bullish liquidity, so things are transacting up at the ask. But it looks like if history is to repeat, since we don't have any real evidence of anything changing, it looks like another test of LDPM at 550 seems reasonable. Last time it almost broke through. Let's put LDPM 55 up on as LDPM 987. Let's make it a nice purple. So 987. So it looks like we don't actually have to worry about 987, at least for now. Yeah, same story. We're testing the how robust this organic bid is. But things are still, LDPS is still showing things moving it up to the ask. Maybe I should put a robot on Boo. The weekly. Checking out INTC. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, we could do TLT. Let's see. So this is the, we'll go, I'm a top-down processor. Let's go to 987. I might regret this. All of this is nasty. Wow, so NVIDIA is testing the 987. Okay, interesting. So we have, things are bullish until February. We start getting bearish liquidity. We enter a bear trap. We get squeezed below down to LDPM 7 at 34. We continue our bear trap. Oh no, I'm sorry. So at by this point on April 20th, we see LDPM crossover. So it's no longer, it's a mixed bear trap, which means you know, how much are we interested in the price going up? That's probably inversely related to how important it is to get out. So or directly associated, you know what I mean? So we fall, LDPM 5 tells us it's no longer a pure bear trap, and then the price falls again to LDPM, I guess this would be LDPM 8, hangs out, we get this organic bid steps in, we get a nice little, then now is a bull trap. It tests LDPM 7, fails hard. LDPM comes down, gives a nice organic bid. We now test LDPM 8 again, fail. And now it looks like we're testing LDPM, on our way to test LDPM 7. What a mess. This might be the messiest kind of like environment I've seen. What's the 610, right? So from that view, it looks like the bullish liquidity was diminishing. But did it have? It's like a weird. I want to say, what would I say from this 987? I mean, it's flowing to the bid, and we have an eager ask, and it looks like we've already attempted LDPM 7. So I do think it would, movement back down to LDPM 8 at like 22 seems like the reasonable outlook from the 987. Do 610. Why do I use the 987 time frame? I just like it. I like it a lot. I think that in general, non-standard time frames are ideal. And so I literally just slide up and down the Fibonacci sequence. I'll look at the daily and the weekly, if it's because it's what I'm not used to, but it's like what everyone looks at. But I do actually think that I think one of the easiest ways to get alpha is to look at non-standard time intervals. Because I think that if everyone's marching in line, if you kind of march at a half a step different, you're going to kind of pick up different beats, I think. So 987, or like the 987, I think comes to, let's see, 97 by minutes, by hours, so 1645 hours. So it gives you little bit of day and a half, 2 days. Kind of gives you like a weird intersection. And so your data is going to be like mixed, right? It's going to be slightly shuffled more or differently than I think how most other people look at it and how most people are expected to look at it. So yeah, 987, 610, and then usually I jump down to the 144, and then I'll do like the 90 and then the 45 minute. And then like 3 13, 21, 34. But usually those are, if I'm down in those levels, it's because I'm confusing myself. So let's see. But look at how wide this liquidity is, like compared to all the other like stocks we saw. These LDPMs are so super spaced out. Is the technical term. So we do here, even still, we're testing LDPM 8 at 987. But this looks bullish, right? I mean, maybe if we put the eagers on. I guess we are, oh, there we go, okay. So it looks like we're being tested. So we have these two eager asks up here. We did have this nice eager bid that looks like it helped to move things up. And as soon as the price moved over LDPM 8, the eager ask jumped up. And I think the eager asks are still there. So it looks, I still feel like this is pretty bullish. Like LDPM isn't rejecting it hard. What did we say on the 987? Did we bullish or bearish? That we said bearish. The flow to the bid. Maybe not, yeah. It's aggressive again. Do I keep doing that? So flow to the bid. And flow to the ask. Yeah, I guess I guess I'd have to lean on the side of caution here. But there's definitely does Intel have stuff going on with it? What's all this mess for? Because we tested 987, fell below it. LDPM zoomed. And so now we have an organic bid, eager ask, organic ask, organic ask. So similar to, I guess ultimately similar to a lot of the equities we've been witnessing, it's kind of this self-made LDPM channel. Things are still bullish, so it's like bullish, but you know, at least is the 14-minute? No, I wanted the 144. Sorry. Like this looks pretty bearish. We have eager ask. We have some evidence of the bid, but we're flowing to the bid with an eager ask, and it looks like LDPM is interested in pointing upwards. INTC in talks with multiple parties on getting acquired, but the nice thing about INTC is that Vogue's trying to reach stability before the price started appreciating. Oh, really? Well, it's a mixed bag in terms of it looks like there's some preparing to be the ask and some preparing to be. I wonder when the acquisition is, because I mean, yeah, I just don't. It's not. It looks like several of these time frames have it like range bound by LDPM. Looks like there's a pretty hefty a pretty consistent organic ask at like 28, and then now it looks like there was a pretty consistent organic bid at 19. It looks like it's risen somewhat, but even so, things are moving to the bid more than they're moving to the ask. What about yeah, well, this is starting to look like Bupo. Bullish until proven bullish until proven otherwise. That's a lot of selling pressure. Curious. It's a call wall 438,000 calls, right around where LDPM 7 is hanging out at like 28. See, like, why was this big drop in August of 2024 met with such a huge increase in this is the liquidity volume? I should look at what I'm putting on here. Maybe this is nice, like, so if history were to repeat, it should go up. So yeah, look, liquidity levels. This is one of those liquidity levels increases, the price decreases. So price is stagnant in early 2024. Maybe I'm looking at it now, yeah. I should probably make this a different color. Not everything has to be green, Justin, or blue. But there's not actually that many colors. Anyone else notice that? Okay. So price, liquidity is hanging out. Price is doing its thing, falls. No, I lied. You should, yeah. Stays the same, increases. I wish the short ratio stuff wasn't messed up. It's not a very pretty graph, I apologize. So there doesn't, so it seems range bound, we can say that much. And other than that, it doesn't seem too directionally motivated. So it's going to be in bullish until proven otherwise, but this is bull trap, right? Effectively. It's not in gamma squeeze, although it's pretty persistently been in one. I guess the market wasn't confident that ITC could make the transition smooth, so people nope the F out of there when the board fired Pat. Yeah, I mean, it's been Vox has been pretty consistently in the propagation zone. Any kind of movements into even stability, well, stability you could argue, but it's not there now, so we don't have to worry about it. But right now it's in bullish until proven otherwise, which is bull trap. The hedging heat map is pretty inundated with selling pressure. Vox does overall give us a bullish outlook. It has a near-term bearish, but 5, 10, 12, 20-day outlooks seem pretty bullish. And then on the 140, and then if we go up to like the weekly, we see it's in a bull trap. I guess we should have started with the weekly. So much for being top down. So we have bullish liquidity, testing LDPM currently. And so that's a bull trap. So it looks like there were several pieces of data suggesting bull trap. Velrex was correct today, that today was going to be an upper. And we saw on the other time frames, there was the upper, LDPM was making this upper ceiling of sorts. These channels, which isn't typical of LDPM, but we're seeing them pretty common, pretty lately throughout the market. And so it does seem as though this would be pretty reminiscent of a bull trap. And that coincides also with the bullish until proven otherwise with Velrex. Yeah, I don't know. That's difficult. We can see the eager bids though. Look at that. I mean, that's pretty cool. We can see so we get like the bearish, right? And then we get this bull trap. And we can see the whole time, we can see it was supported by those eager bids. It was pretty cool. And then they became eager asked. Oops. And then I think he said, what does the Varix line show? So think of it as like it's the measurement of stability or if instability. And so if this ever stops, say I did it again. So there's 3 zones with Varix. With this version, right here in the middle is stability. So when Varix is within stability, the default outlook is just casual price appreciation. The below stability in this area is the propagation zone. So whenever Varix is inside of the propagation zone, the typical movement is persistent downside. And then when Varix is above the middle region, it's the inhibition zone. And that indicates that things are kind of they're moving along, typically in a price appreciatory manner, but they're doing so in an overheated manner. So we can see like there are times when, if we just pull up, so like these spikes into the inhibition zone represent large spikes of instability. And so this is SPY from when 2024 April, right? So this is a Varix spike, and then we see Varix falls in the propagation zone, price does its thing, and then we slowly rise back up. And we see SPY is also currently in its infancy of a bullish until proven otherwise. And then the snap graphs, these help give a little bit more of an analytical assessment to Varix. So if you look at a Varix and it's all just all over the place, the snap graphs can help kind of give you at least a numeric assessment. And then the gamma hedging heat maps, they tell us the anticipated hedging directionality and magnitude with movements in volatility and price. And so we can say, all right, well, if volatility increases and price increases, then we should encounter purchasing support, because we would go to the right and then we would go up from our current spot. And then we have some EPR graphs, the volatility, short ratio, which is kind of broken right now. And then we have the options layouts, which the layout is kind of standard. We would like this to be a little bit more of a normal curve than just kind of a plateau, but who am I? And then we have the directionalized options table that just tells us kind of the influx of the different types of options. So whether they be out of the money short puts or in the money dealer short puts, so on, so have you. But that's Varix. So Varix is another kind of tool. So when it's above the upper line, it's short gamma to the upside, and vice versa when it's below line. It's not directly associated with gamma, and not always. You can get pretty robust. So you can hold on. I'm trying to. I don't know if I have the report, but. It's not quite, but right. So it's not always associated with the net direction of gamma, and in fact, I would actually venture to say that most Varixes in the inhibition zone are inordinate long gamma that is typically not being hedged appropriately. This is Disney. What? What did Disney do today? Oh wait, Disney went down, right? No, did Disney have a big day? No, I guess not. It did go down though, but look at that purchasing support. Who's even worried? And a LDPM organic bid at LDPM 6. And that's actually a good question. But the effect, the one of the cool what I was gonna try to show you, and what made me think of Disney is that that's one of the things that Vorex will track for us is in essence non-standard hedging, or what I call opportune hedging. So the idea that not all hedging is done immediately or equally, and so you can get times where obligations are stacking up, and so you're actually incurring like significant long gamma debt, but that hedging isn't kind of released to the market. I want to say it was, when was this? And one of the classic ways of looking at this is through what's called Vorex divergence. I feel like it had to have been in between 2020 and 2022. Oh, because this one doesn't have. If I find it, I'll show you. You can kind of see here, but the price already starts to depreciate as Vorex starts to depreciate. But so yeah, so there's showings where like if the price is appreciating, Vorex is in the inhibition zone, but then Vorex starts falling. That's kind of when typically a lot of the hedging that should have been done starts getting done. PMH 2022, 2024-ish. Was it doing something goofy then? Where's that at? Did I get rid of my dashboard website? No. Nope. Okay. I don't know who programmed this thing. PMA is, do I not? Oh, PHM. Yeah, that's a gnarly. $2022. Oof. So yeah, we can see here. And then things fell. Price gives back a little bit. I wonder, this would be Vorex divergence, right? Do you not want to do that for me? Because we would have Vorex definitely starts falling as the price appreciates. So yeah, that's a good example. And we have, so then it gives some back, and then things kind of hang out with instability for a while, it looks like. And then that's when we kind of start making our first pronounced introductions into the propagation zone, and then we kind of officially fall into the propagation zone and like the start of November 2024. Since then the price has been falling. Yeah, this was definitely a statement of overheating. It's kind of a pretty wide Vorex complex. Oh, and I think I still have Vorex being smooth. With the, I don't know why I always think everything has to break all the time, but yeah, we can actually see the Vorex starts decreasing as the price appreciates and things fall. This is a different view though, where the two lines, the horizontal lines, are missing. Where did that go? Where? There we go. So we can tell when things kind of start getting into the propagation zone. So the outlook would be continued downside for PHM for sure. So has it been in gamma squeeze a lot? You know what's funny is on this graph, I can't get the gamma squeeze indicator to work. I can only get it to work on this one. Hey, who knows why? Can you show VOX on VIX? It would be pretty neat if it could predict instability to the upside in those market corrections. No VOX on VIX, unfortunately. But it is pretty good. It is pretty predictive. Do we not just not? Who's the app off? I'm trying to think of. You want to predict instability to the upside and thus market corrections. One of the ways you can do that instead of is with the gamma squeeze data. Is really good for that. So gamma squeezes have a nice association where when they start piling up, the market tends to start correcting. So we can see that when gamma squeeze growth starts to coincide with like minor downwards movement, it tends to snowball. So this is just an example with SPY, but this is also associated with IV movements, and we can track like incoming gamma squeezes to the market with GTM. But lately things have been pretty eerily quiet on the GTM front. So essentially, if you see like if you're in the December 16th of 2024 and you see that the gamma squeezes are spiking up, they cross the positive, so we're starting to see positive growth. That's associated with an increase in volatility market wide. Yeah, I can't get the gamma indicator to work on this. Is this PHM, but just everything else is broke? Okay, so because we do see that we have been in a gamma squeeze. The line is red, but not as much as you would think, I think, for how much downside that is. GTM is the gamma trend metric. So it's this guy down here. And its job is to indicate to us what is like the predominant flow of net gamma heading into the market. And so when it's negative, that tells us that the kind of the flow of gamma into the market is short, and when it's positive, that means it's long. In general, with a flow of with a flow of long gamma anticipated, you can anticipate a decrease in gamma squeezes, an increase in the market-wide performance, as well as a decrease in volatility. And conversely, we don't have one recently, but large downwards or persistent negative GTMs suggest that there's short gamma flowing towards the market, and so we can expect gamma squeezes to increase, and thus the price decrease and volatility go up. Is it indicating a decrease in gamma squeezes? It is. It's right on the line for like the growth curve. The growth. So GTM right now is also neutral. It's right at 0. I've kind of been trying to dissect that out, but it just looks like there's a lot of the positioning isn't new in the market. It's just kind of people rehashing. I don't think people really are interested in taking distinct steps. So GTM is negative, so it just says neutral. Gamma is kind of flowing. We have a 0 growth for gamma squeezes, and we have been persistently at around. At first, there was a theory that this was gonna skyrocket up, but that has seemed to have paused. So we've been hanging out around 1,000 in the market currently. But I was expecting, truthfully, a surge of gamma squeezes. Has it been at near 0 in the past, similar to now? Not that I remember. It doesn't usually hang out at like 0s for too long. I don't know if So yeah, it doesn't usually. This one's from February 24, 2020. Crossover 0.06. True. It's pretty bearish. 2023. Take a quick look. And even put selling activity was much more verbose back in the day. So yeah, no, this is the old GTM. There's no real moments of hanging out at 0. I mean, it weird, I guess, maybe hang out sub-0, but like, yeah, I was expecting a shoot up in growth. When is this from? 2023 March. But even the hanging out at gamma squeezes of 1,000 is relatively new. For at least for 2-3 years, we were pretty persistently in like the 2,000 to 3,000s, as you can see here in like 2023. It was pretty much. It was actually like a noteworthy event, I believe, if I remember correctly, when we broke below 1,000 in 2023, because that hadn't happened in quite a while. So no, I don't think it's been. I don't remember a time, at least from my memory, of when GTM has kind of just hung out at 0 like this. Growth has also kind of just been hanging out at 0, but puts have been hanging out at 0. SPY's put selling has been hanging out at 0. And we have, overheating on VOEX in the indexes. So it paints a picture of, everyone's looking around to see if everyone else thinks the music has stopped. And I think that once everyone starts realizing that that has happened, it's going to be a little bit, one of the weirdest, longest drawn out divergence I've ever seen. PHM is very strange stock from a VARX perspective. Yeah, that was even I think the VARX and the LDPMs were strange. Like truly unfortunately strange. Confusingly strange. Works on new VXY, but I haven't. Okay. UVXY. What? What? Sir. I mean, sure. I mean, yeah, what? This is the type of chart you see on like currencies or like Forex. So let's go to Diamond. Bid. Bid. That is a very strange chart. I'm gonna actually look into this. This is strange. This is Diamond. Let's go to Balanced. Yeah, I mean, so like technically we're flown to the bid. We're in like this mixed bull trap, but technically flow to the bid, eager ask. But is this one of those weird ones that's kind of like reversed because it's volatility? I don't know. Are we still logging? Unlog. But at least it suggests that for present company, ever since this LDPM crossover, it looks like LDPM 7 has been kind of what we rotate around. So, I mean, this is super hand wavy interpretation because, I mean, this is pretty messy. We have LDPM doing just a straight nosedive. We have these like strange complexes. Another straight nosedive. I've never seen straight nosedives like this. I mean, other than I guess the eagers, right? I guess eager bids, but like yeah. Does it work on VIX futures? Maybe. Yeah, boy. So VIX futures are bullish, right? This is the daily. I think I would be fine doing LDPS on futures, fixed futures, LDPM and LDPS, because it is like a commodity people buy and sell. And then on the 987, we're mixed. We're like a just so in a mixed, dare I say, bear trap. LDPMs come up. We have eager ask. I'm gonna have to watch this. I never thought to do VIX futures. So I think I think eager would be my go-to, right? Because I want to. So I would probably do eager. I wonder if 610 is a little better. All right, so we're testing the floor 1678. Seems like a history is telling us that we tend to spike up to LDPM 5, which is currently at 1770, 1773. Not you, Mr. Code. I've been doing this to avoid coding. So it looks like pretty persistent eager asks. I don't know, you guys are giving me hard ones. Maybe orange shoes, is that still happening? Yeah, I think if I were to wait, I would look for, I mean, we're flowing to the ask. So I think that VIX futures would likely pop up as per usual, LDPM 5. And then if it looks like it's continuing onward, expect it to pop up, right? But it would be like if it pops above LDPM 7, it's doing so, rapidly, and I'm gonna probably try to collect as much profit there as I can because it looks like this is a mixed stack, so we can't be too confident in the bullishness staying. But I will keep an eye on this. I'm curious to see if how VIX futures work, because we're still bearish on if we move to a more conservative setting, so where we're not too interested in trying to capture these like once-off sparks. We see that things are still overall pretty bearish, and again range bound by these LDPMs. How do we do orange juice? Frozen concentrates. Wow. I mean, does this good for me? Does this mean that is my orange juice gonna be cheaper? It is quite the move. Let's zoom in and see what's going on in that 3 minute. Maybe let's do 15. So we definitely start getting bearish, but we're in a bear trap, and then things start to invert just in time for a bull trap, and then bull trap, and then we get officially bearish with bearish LDPM and bearish LDPS, and it looks like the rest is history. What are the eagers doing? What are they up to? So we're looking to see if they're coming down to provide like an emergency eager bid, which would give evidence that maybe a floors is happening. But as we can see here, that's actually not the case. It looks like the eager parties stayed as eager asks and are still continuing to be eager asks. So I'm not sure. Wow. Huh. What's happening in orange juice? Why is orange juice not? Are the orange juices gone? No, that would make the price go up. Who knows what's going on here? All I know is I better be able to get orange juice. I love orange juice. I'd drink nothing but orange juice if I could. So, but we see the LDPS is bearish, technically in a bear trap, but we see that all LDPMs, squeakle, are shooting upwards. So they're rapidly, there's an aggressive ask cascade with enough force to get the weekly time frame moving. And then if we're looking for a floor, we're going to re-add the 987, and we see that that's actually where we're testing now in a way that's not good. Because, remember when we saw the earlier tests of LDPM with especially the organics, I think the price kind of like bounces on it. And then we see like a little bit of usually bullish liquidity will drain as it kind of gets transferred into the neutralized by the organic bid. But here we see, at least for now, the most foundational organic bid is also actually interested in becoming an ask right now. Tariff related? Oh, maybe. I thought we got most of our oranges from Florida. Cocoa. Yeah, this is like another. I'm gonna get rid of the eagers because they're just all over the place. Yeah, so that's not good. I mean, it's pretty. This is the weekly, but we see bearish liquidity we see we had a bull trap or a bear trap. We settled it, but then the bullish liquidity never quite returned. We end up with this Luke green and it / red. We don't get back to the nice green. So price stagnates, and then the LDPM kind of keeps going. So now it's an ask, and so now we have an organic ask and bearish LDPS, and so likely another test of LDPM 6 at 6972. But until the LDPM start messing up, it looks like that's pretty a test of 9672, and then hopefully we start seeing bullish liquidity return. But again, as if the bearish liquidity starts really draining things, we're going to start seeing these LDPMs, the organics, kind of really start rising as the price starts falling, and then it'll look less like then it transforms from a bear trap into an aggressive ask cascade, and then we kind of monitor it from there. Yeah, I mean, it looks like Coco's of the two, definitely the more stable, because even here, same, we have a bear trap, but we think 938-ish. Then unless something significantly changes, it should bounce right back up. Looks like it's been holding, the bullish liquidity has been holding pretty strong. It worked its way through this bull trap, the bull trap, and then the mixed. And we see here too, someone earlier was asking about like crossovers, but you'll notice these types of behaviors too, nearing crossovers. It's kind of when the price goes a little crazy. This. So there's, along with those like junction complexes. But yeah, it looks like a little bit of down, but overall, again, we're gonna have to monitor it for as it approaches the LDPM 7, but and then coffee better not be. If coffee gets messed with, I'm kind of, me and deep dive stocks are kind of effed. Where's coffee futures? Oof. A little scary. So we see that there's a little bit, it looks like that like process we've kind of been iteratively seeing, where the price is kind of on its way to test the organic floor. Conditions still remain bullish though, so not too fearsome, not too worrisome. Some evidence of like, but we've seen, I think by now we've seen some, you don't really have to squint when it comes to determining if LDPM is doing its thing. It usually will tell you, but this looks like a lot like Palantir, big push down, and then definitely have eager asks, but still bullish. And no reason to think that the LDPM, the organic at 342 can at least pause things. But in terms of like, would the price, what is the likelihood that the price is like immediately, like at this point, this is where I expect the price at least to test LDPM 5, and then like I'll, if I were interested in going long, I would look at how the liquidity has been changing. Are we still pretty good? Is LDPS still showing us some bullish liquidity? Does the price seem to be respecting LDPM, and then maybe re-enter long? But like right now, I would, since there's clearly something trying to push the price down, I would at least personally wait until we get to the organic bid at like LDPM 5. HYZ or HYD. Another mix, but we have LDPM coming under. So, partially bullish. I'm still kind of like echoing the kind of the oddities of these recent configurations with LDPM being a ceiling at 80.43. Kind of like another self-imposed range bound. So whereas things do look quite bullish right now, it's another, I would expect movement to 80.43 up at LDPM 6, but then I'd want to see what happens, because we can see that, we weren't successful last time getting above it. This time we have an organic bid below us, so I guess technically we did, but we had to travel to it. Who knows? But yeah, it's so bullish, but I would want to look to see what happens at 80.44. But it seems pretty confident, or like but it does seem reasonable that that is a reasonable movement, because we see that the skies are clear. We have all the eager parties are down here, and we really only have one eager bid to contend with, or organic bid up top. So it doesn't seem too unreasonable to keep the upwards movement going. Is this speaking of Palantir? So we do have. So we did go up a little bit, but we are resting quite on those 104 LDPMs. Ooh, quite the eager ask. But it hasn't, LDPMs aren't really, the organics aren't shooting upwards, and LDPM 5 seems content. Price isn't really testing it too much, so I think, oh, Jesus. So I think the earlier interpretation is still on. I think preferably would see maybe a little bit of bullish action forming in LDPS to show us that, like, this organic bid is transitioning to an eager bid. But it looks more like LDPM, the eager parties are interested in pointing up, which means that not interested in scooping below the price. So my earlier interpretation it may be such that the organics are not quite sufficient to stop this downside. Looks like some stopping power here, but the next organic floor is at 81.49, so that's still quite a bit of ways. And then, okay, we'll do TOT, and then I'm gonna go for the night. So let's see what we got. TLT. Pretty bullish looking. So we have, looks like we have bullish, LDPS is bullish, so that's telling us that transactions are occurring, like flowing up to the ask. And it looks like TLT is currently absorbing the organic ask at 88, but LDPM 5 is swooped down to be an organic floor. Other than recently, the organic bids or the eager ones are not doing anything crazy. And so I think that unless the liquidity starts to look like it's draining, in some point in the near future, it looks like it's reasonable that we're gonna digest above LDPM 7 and then likely movement to LDPM 6 at 92. I think it's been a little longer than, because I think we started talking about TLT kind of like around here, but it's still doing its thing. I think it's still going. Last time it did not do well on the test, so we'll see. It's not a simple question, or not a simple answer to determine if it's going to the bid or the ask. Usually lots of squiggles. But that's our LDPS is designed to tell us to color things red when the transactions are occurring predominantly at the bid, and then green when they're occurring at the ask. But things can get a little messy if you have like a super aggressive bid or ask. It'll sometimes make things look like it's an organic, but there's ways to tell most of the time. But yeah, so it looks like it seems reasonable to expect TLT to bump up to 92. At this rate, though, quite a while. If we do like April 25th. So if we expect the price to kind of just meander. Yeah, end of April. Unless the price goes above LDPM 7, aggressive bid comes in and the price goes right up. But if things kind of just continue meandering, and then it's not only the colors the candles are colored based on where the transactions are occurring. The text also tells us if we can see it. So this is telling us the transactions are occurring predominantly at the ask, and that the flow is pretty neutral. So it doesn't look like any one party is like stepping towards the other. So just hanging out. So yeah, all right. Thank you. I appreciate that, Daniel. Thank you. I'm going to be trying to do this. I'm going to try to do this more often. If you guys enjoy this kind of just coming in and saying hi, let me know, and I'll do it more often. So, all right, cool. I remembered to record this, so I'm also gonna pop it up on YouTube later tonight. I'm not gonna edit it because that is my nemesis. So if I go down the editing hole, it'll never get done. I'm just gonna throw it up on YouTube, so feel free. And yeah, you guys have a good night too. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you guys around. All right, bye.